This is an energy reading for Silence Speaks. And when I received your code name, you were moving in your picture a little bit. Sometimes that happens where a person's higher self or some higher aspect of them will come through and they'll be like moving in the picture, or they'll be sending me pictures themselves. And you were zipping your lips like this. You were showing me like a zipper in between your lips, and you were going like that. But you meant it in a positive way, not like you were shut off or something, because sometimes that can mean that. It means like you're not able to express something, but that wasn't what you were coming across with. It was like a positive thing, and you gave this code name Silence Speaks. And then right before I went into the reading, so just now, just a minute ago, I felt a very, very calm energy all of a sudden enter the room, and I still feel him now, but I felt very distinctly a guide behind me, a male guide, and he was coming in. I thought he was giving me the name Rasha, but then he showed me very clearly Raja, R-A-J-A, and then he put a crown on my head. And then he also went like this. He also showed me the zipper, and he went like this across his lips. And then I looked this up on Wikipedia because I had this feeling, especially when he put the crown on my head, I thought, wait a minute, doesn't Raja mean something? And but something like I've heard this like a while back. This isn't like a word that I normally come across, so that's why I went ahead and looked it up, and it meant like some kind of ruler. It meant like a princely ruler or a king. And then he showed me the lips, and he also he gave me this feeling of a certain kind of entity. And I couldn't really remember the name, and then he kind of popped it into my head, a djinn. And normally in the West, we hear more about angels and fairies even, but not so much a genie or a jinn. But that's what this guide was coming in with. He was coming in with that energy and giving me that word jinn. And so I looked up this word, and the really interesting thing to me about this also is that the meaning of the name, it says that it's a Persian word, and the meaning of the name means hidden from sight. And that's in Persian, and then in Arabic it means to hide or be hidden. And so that was coming across with this same kind of energy to me as the sealing of the lips. So like this authority that you're coming across with your picture, and that he's also coming across with, it isn't spoken out. And really that shows how much power it has. When you have a lot of power, you don't have to be a loud voice and scream about what you want, because you have a true authority that stems from a silent nature. It is an energy that you emit, and that this guide emits. But he's saying that your higher self or your reality emits this energy, and it can take on the world. It can do anything that it needs to do. It can accomplish anything, get anything done. And with the least amount of power because of how much power it has. So with the lightest touch, in other words. So there's this quote that Wolf always says. He says, the strongest power requires the lightest touch. And that's something that this guide is very much exuding. And also that your higher aspect was exuding through the energy through your picture. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and surround myself in light. So he's already kind of getting into the second question, because the second question was about your guides and their origins and things. And there are some specific things it was saying on Wikipedia about where a jinn is from, and he's actually saying that. So I'm just gonna send you the link and let you get from it whatever you want to take from it, whatever you feel about it that really pulls you. So whatever you're really drawn to from it is what you're supposed to get out of it. Because I do feel like there's some specific things that he almost wants to come across with. And again, even that your reality would want to come across with, but I feel like they would do this in a more subtle way, in a more inward way, rather than some outward expressive way. Because that's more his energy. And he shows me smoke constantly too. He was showing me smoke all the time. He was showing me also like a genie, like a genie's lamp. And he shows me that when you rub the lamp, this smoke comes out. Okay, and he's also reminding me of something that I read in the article about Jinn, that it was saying that the way that they're described is that they are made out of smoke and fire, but they are also physical. And also that they have a free will like a human, that they can be good or they can be evil or they can be neutral and see both sides and everything. So he's saying that he's more good, he is benevolent. And obviously he certainly feels that way. And I get this sense from him, like almost like your wish is my command type of thing. Like he can do anything. He can do anything that he pleases, anything that he fancies. And so he doesn't have a care in the world. He doesn't strive for anything. He doesn't worry about anything. He also, like, he can look on someone and he can look at someone and feel compassion for a situation that they're in, but for himself and his situation, his circumstance, he's very jolly and also very calm, and he isn't saddened by his own circumstances or situations or surroundings, because he can fall out of them so easily. And even if there were a challenge, he would almost greet it with a grin. Like, he would grin about it, like, oh, you're challenging me. He would think of it in this kind of like the game is on kind of thing. He wouldn't think of it in a negative way. He would think of it as exciting. Okay, so I was going to surround myself in light, but now he's surrounding me with his energy, and that's pretty interesting. Because that was another thing that happened earlier. I saw these black wings this picture of these black wings coming around me like this. And then I started feeling this really, really calm energy. And he just showed me that again, these black wings. And at first, it made me think of a daemon. And Wolf and I made a video about this. It was called Unexplored Energies, Positive Darkness, and Negative Light. And we were talking about how you can have an entity that takes on a night kind of energy. And I was referring to that as a daemon. And so it's like an angel, only rather than having like a day energy, it has like a night energy. And that's what I was thinking he was at first, because he was coming in with the black wings and this very calm and kind of earth wise, kind of darker kind of energy, but obviously not dark in like a negative way, but dark in like a silent, like very still way. So his power is definitely more the divine feminine. It is not outward, even though he can do whatever he wants outward, but it comes from a mastery of within. And from being subtle. His power isn't apparent unless he wants it to be, and he's aware of that. He's fully aware of who he is and the power he exudes or doesn't exude. It's like he's so aware of his power that why does he need to show it to anybody else? Why do others need to see it? And he doesn't really want me to use that word. And I agree that can kind of have a negative connotation, but I don't really know what to call it. Like a confidence, but to a very high degree of confidence. So I feel like it could almost come across as negative to someone else, like an arrogance or something like that, but it doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like he is very sure of himself. He knows exactly who he is and he knows his place. And he knows that he is a Raja. And that's his place. But he still sees himself as equal to everyone else. However, other people very often are not aware of their own placement. They are not seeing themselves as equal to others. And he is hinting a bit that that you have an issue with that as well. He says that it isn't uh he's saying slight. He's saying it's not some big issue, but at the same time he does say that it needs to be dealt with. Okay, and that's kind of interesting that he's saying that, because the other thing that he's reminding me of is, since this was like a dual reading, that you and your partner were both wanting a reading, even in the email when he asked his questions also, he even admitted an unworthy feeling. But what Raja is saying is that if you attract someone who admits to having that, then also you have it. Just because you can't attract a close bond with someone who has that and not also have it in yourself. So he is saying, and he's also saying, and the good things. He says that you balance each other out very well. He says that you don't come across with that quite as much. And so that's why he wants to point it out to you. So some things that you might not admit to having so openly or be as aware of, if they're in your partner, he's saying that they're also in you, even if they're in a different way. So he's saying to be aware of the good things in yourself and the good things in your partner and the negative things in yourself and the negative things in your partner, because you, okay, because you kind of mirror one another. He's showing me mirrors, and he's saying a twin flame soul is what he's saying. So I don't know if you guys feel that or if that's something that you resonate with, but that's what he's coming in with. So I'm telling you guys. Okay, he's also wrapping you in the wings also. So I'm not going to worry about surrounding you in light either, because he's already doing that. So he wants to get to a question in a second. Something else that he's saying though. Okay. Oh, okay. You want to get to that one first, don't you? Is that what you're saying? You want to go to number 3. Okay. Okay, so the thing that he was going to say before that, he's just coming across with this like youthful energy, like you have hopes and dreams, you want to take on the world. And he's just saying that you can manifest all of these things, that's within your power. But he's saying that this comes from a worthiness. You have to know your place in the world, that you're deserving of it. And again, I feel your partner too. This is actually a message for both of you. You have to both sincerely feel that you are deserving of it, that you are worthy of it, that it's your divine right, he's saying, just because you've been born here. And not only that, he's saying because you are a star seed also. You have wisdom beyond your years. And that doesn't mean that you're better than others, so you're more deserving. But what he's saying is what it denotes is that you've had more lifetimes to get through a lot of simpler crap that might block you. You have the ability to easily push through any blocks. Any blocks are going to be more minor. You have the ability to see through them and navigate to what you want, and at least toward it, he's saying, in all areas, to manifest to a high degree, to a higher degree, he's saying, than most could do in regards to what you want. When it comes to blocks being in your way, there just aren't as many. So you've had a lot of time to work on a lot of the internal things. He's saying that some of your internal things, he's saying, especially with your partner, have come, but you also, he's saying, it's come from things that you've picked. Ooh, it's come from things that you picked up from other people. And he is specifically coming in with the word mother, specifically that. Okay. And I feel some chords with her. No, I'm getting a pretty strong energy in both my sacral and in my heart chakra, and I feel my solar plexus a bit too. And I want to say financial. So think about, are there any kind of financial blocks that you're aware of that your mother had specifically? Because there are some ties to her and it feels like something financial is what I want to say. Normally, this kind of thing comes in as more physical, and I'll interpret it as this could be some varying things, but this could also be like a financial support kind of thing, just because it's feeling more physical. This isn't even coming in like that. It's coming in more specific. It's coming in pretty specifically as financial, and specifically the mother. Because a lot of times, even with that, I want to go, okay, this energy feels like a mother's energy, but it can be some other older woman. This really doesn't feel that way. This feels like the mother specifically, and it also feels like something financial specifically. And some ties to her, some cords to her in this area. And he's showing me a pair of gleaming scissors, and I thought that they were gold at first, and now they seem silver, so I can't tell what they are, but they're a pair of like gleaming scissors. So he's saying to start snipping at those, but that's something that you're gonna have to um, kind of go into internally and meditate on and think about where those are located and what they could be coming from. Because he's saying sometimes understanding something, being aware of something, will just clear the cords automatically. Some of them you'll need to snip. Others will just come from your own understanding. And I feel like there was some kind of, it's coming in with some kind of stress too. So that's something to think about. Like, was your mom ever stressed about finances? Because that's what it feels like to me. Feels like there's a stress associated with it. And even a little bit of, I'm getting the word dependency also, that there was some dependency. So he's saying that you don't have that. So it's not like this is passed down to you or fallen on you, but you still have these cords that could block you from manifesting something that you want to snip, he's saying. Whoa, that's a different energy. Okay, I get a second guide coming up, again with wings. These are white wings. And he, androgynous, I think. So he is wearing all white and coming in with white wings. So she would be a little bit more obvious, more apparent. And I feel like this is one of your main guides. But both of these have come in before. I almost feel like, because this, I'm gonna, what do I call you? Do I call you an it? Okay. So this one is just because it's androgynous, it could seem male or it could seem female. So I almost feel like they could be, these two guides could be kind of meshed a little bit, where when you're meditating, or even just whenever they're coming through to you. I know you mentioned that one of your guides was speaking to you, but how this is coming in is that both of them have been speaking to you. And I even feel a third guide now, but it feels like a little bit of a lesser guide, like not lesser in importance, but like not one of your most prominent guides, not like one of your primary guides, but is still like a guide who is around you, and that what is that? What is that? What is that? Okay, just gonna wait a second here. Okay, but anyway, what I was saying was I feel like these two could almost be confused sometimes. Like they almost seem like they're the same person when they're actually two different guides. And then I have this thing coming up, and what is that? It felt positive at first, and then it almost felt negative, and I was like, kind of like weird about it. But now I'm hearing that it is positive, and I'm kind of getting this feeling like it's almost like it started working on something in me. And so I was almost feeling like my own negative stuff. And so this being almost felt negative, but they're actually they're a healer is what I think they are. This is like a healing guide. So this is a guide that works to cleanse you of things, remove you of things. This guide has an odd energy. Almost felt like a child for a minute. I almost want to say it has a fairy energy, but it's shaking its head. And it's saying no, it has a child's energy, which could come across like a fairy energy. So very pure, very light, but also very like piercing, very focused, and can get in there internally or even physically, it's saying, and work on this. Now he is coming in with a he. When I said it, he's coming in with a he. So it's male, but just because of the fact that it's a kid, this usually when I feel a kid's energy, it doesn't always feel distinctly male or female. It feels androgynous to me, or it feels like I could get the gender easily confused because children are very balanced and they aren't fully grown into whatever gender they're going to be yet. So they have a more androgynous feeling to their energy, a more androgynous nature. He also brings in a light-hearted approach to things where you kind of laugh and giggle. Like right now, he's playing with a ball. And that's that's part of how he helps you, I think, with your emotions too. He helps you see a lighter way of viewing things. Okay, so there's some other guides too, but they don't want to come in right now. But they're talking about a fourth guide and a fifth guide and a sixth guide, they're saying, that are pretty much primary around you. I get a feeling that there are some others too, but they're not like your main group. Like this is like a main group of people that's coming in. Yeah, and he's saying again, Raja is saying again that he could almost be confused as someone else. He's saying part of this is because of his hidden nature. But I think the way that you would probably be able to tell would be this calm energy that he has. If you were to really focus on him, I feel like you could get some very deep insights, and I also feel like he he could aid you in becoming calm, becoming still, becoming peaceful, and he could aid you with more with your intuition and meditation, things like that. but just being still in general, not necessarily meditation. That's more logical, but I'm saying that because of the feeling that he comes across with. Okay, so 3. They want to go into question 3. Okay, all right. And I feel like he's he's giving me this hug, but that's more for you. Like they have this feeling like they're connecting with you. They're glad about it. Like you know more who they are, or you're more aware of how they operate. And that's a good thing. But they are acknowledging that you were getting a lot on your own. So, but I'm still getting this feeling from him, almost like his energy was almost like a little bit off, which honestly might just be because of the type of being he is, because it's not one that we're normally familiar with or that we normally hear about in most places of the world, because this is more of like an Islamic thing. This is like what is that word? What is that word? I don't remember it, but almost like not like a there's a word for it. I should be able to think of it. Not mysticism. Okay, not like it's not like a religious thing. It's like a mysticism kind of thing. But normally we don't really hear about this type of entity in other places of the world. So I don't know if that's the reason, but I feel like his energy might have been slightly off with the way that you were interpreting it, or even how it was able to come through or come across to you. He's also showing me a kind of quick energy. He's showing me like a monkey, and the monkey is going up the tree, but then it's almost like the monkey can appear here in the tree or here on the tree or there on the tree. So his energy can be very calm, and then he's also saying that it can be very quick and can quickly manifest or quickly decide something or quickly perceive something. So this is that jinn kind of energy coming in too, with like a poof of smoke. Now, this question that you're asking about, number 3, with this accident that you have had, I feel like that was allowed because he's coming in with this energy almost like he had something to do with it. I feel like you were protected. It didn't really cause you a lot of damage or anything internally, um, or any really. So I feel like you were protected and you were just fine. But I feel like this guide was directly involved with that. Like he was specifically allowing you to, it almost feels like he took you somewhere, like he met with you somewhere. Hold on a second here. I keep almost feeling like you almost crossed into his dimension where he resides, like this place, like I was saying, I was reading in this article about like where they live. It almost feels like that. And this feels like a very fantastical, whimsical kind of place where you would almost have mythical beasts and mythical creatures and see kind of weird thing, almost like in Alice in Wonderland. He's reminding me of the Chester cat. that cat with the big like weird eyes and like the weird like perception of the world and just strange creature. It almost feels like that, like kind of animals or even people that look kind of like whimsical. And he's also saying etherical but solid. He's saying that again, that is accurate. They are like both physical material, but then they're also, like it was saying, like smoke and fire. They're also like air. They're just like energy on the one hand, and then they're like physical as well on the other hand. So it's this energy where like anything can happen. It feels like he's saying heaven. Feels like heaven. He's saying for him. For him it is. For other people it might just be kind of weird or even creepy. To him it's heaven. But he's saying this again, that you can manifest instantly. Okay. But again, he's saying that it's with silence. Now, he's also saying that he wanted to open you up more where you keep your abilities intact. He's putting a crown on your head too, and he's saying that again, Raja. Okay. But he's saying it in the female form, which in the article it said the female form was Rani, and that's what he's coming in with. Only he doesn't mean it like the wife of the Raja. So he's saying queen because he means it more on its own, independent of a king. So he's just saying like a female ruler or leader. And he's saying that he wanted to keep that intact in you. So he's saying that he doesn't want you to forget the magic of this place that you're in here now, because this is an illusion, this place. He's saying that there are a lot of words and they're deceptive. People can say one thing and mean another. He's saying that you can perceive that. He's saying that that's one of your abilities, that's one of your gifts. He's saying that part of your mission has to, he's saying the partner too. Again, he's coming in with that energy of the partner too. So both of you, part of your mission is, it has to do with manifesting awareness. So he's saying, and I'm sure you know this, but he's saying that it isn't just about yourselves. It's about making the world around you more aware and bringing more of this dimension into it. He's reminding me, yeah, even in the other reading, they were coming in with this energy where it felt like they were more than one type of guide. It felt like they were two different things at the same time, and they could shape shift in and out of those things. And so it almost threw me off, like, what kind of being are you? And this is because they want to get that energy across, almost like he's saying that you can handle anything, but also that you can almost manipulate anything to be the outcome that you want. So almost like energy manipulation. And he means this energetically. He doesn't mean like in a negative way, like manipulating a person or something, but he means like literally like energy manipulation, like getting an energy to do what you want. And even getting an energy to go your way. I gotta drink some water. And I almost want to say, have you ever done spells? I I almost feel like no, you haven't. Or if you have, you could probably it wouldn't be something that you've gotten into as much. Um, and I know society kind of has a thing about like a stigma around that where they see it as something negative or bad. But this mostly comes from a fear. It comes from a fear of power outside yourself when you're not aware of your own power, which so many people had. And so then they put that fear on all these people and burnt them and all these terrible things. So then people have this fear of doing it as well, fear of coming into their own power as well. But all a spell is it is just an incantation. It's just stating something clearly over and over again of what you want and emitting an energy in the same way with what you want. And then also using tools in a lot of cases to help your mind get into a certain state to deliver this energy more, to deliver it more strongly. So, but even that kind of feeling was coming across to me before when I tried to get the code name before, and your guides were not coming through with it yet. Um, One thing that I saw was this hidden thing was still coming in, and I thought that your name had something to do with like secrets or something, but they just weren't coming in with it. And you had this like a cloak around you, and it was like the gray sweater or whatever it is that you're wearing in your picture. It became this kind of cloak, and you had it around you, and it made me think of the hermit who has all this wisdom, and yet he's kind of off on his own, he's kind of hidden. But also it made me think of like paganism. It had this type of energy to it, like a witchy kind of energy to it, like a spell type of energy to it, or incantations, and also like a connection to nature. Okay, and he's reminding me, he showed me like a tree also. He kept showing me a tree like 2 or 3 times in the reading. And the reading was going really quickly, so that didn't get put in there, but now it's getting put in there. He kept showing me like a tree. That's odd. He's showing me a door and a tree, kind of like a fairy door. And he is kind of it's kind of coming across like, just like in fairy, a tree or nature can be a doorway into their realm. He's saying that of his realm as well, that being out in nature can help you connect with that realm. And I'm also seeing water, really clear water. I think I saw that in the partners reading too. I saw water at one point, and I don't know if I said that either, because again, it was going by kind of quickly, but I think I do recall that. Okay, so this was all very positive, that experience that you had. Um, so I'm almost getting hold on here. Okay. I'm getting a little bit of a feeling almost of like hypnosis, like a hypnotic regression, almost that you could go into that to almost remember it. but that's more slight. That's like a little suggestion. It's not like it doesn't feel like a bomb with the energy coming in. It feels more like like a suggestion. Like you could do that. But primarily what comes in is a connection established with that energy. And that's also why I'm getting the tree, because I'm feeling like a groundedness to that energy, which trees definitely show. They show a groundedness, a connectedness. So he really wants you to connect to his energy. Even this other guide, this androgynous guide, and the third one, the healer, I feel like they're all saying that connecting to this guide, especially this Raja guide, is especially important right now. Okay, so then I'm drawn to the first question, and they're barely saying anything about it. I mean, they're answering the question, but they're just coming in so clearly with Sirian, 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 but they're not, hmm? Okay, but then I also get a feeling of like a second one. Like there's another place where you've had some lifetimes. I'm getting the Pleiades also, and I I feel that a little bit less, though. I feel that a little bit less, but I feel like there's some reason that they want to tell you about it. So they don't have time to get into that right now, but there might be something that you're going to want to know or that you find out later. It might have something to do with a past life or something that you've had there. Some of this I feel like you can get like in your own meditation, because you do have a connection with your guides. So some of this they can come through on their own. And that's the other thing I was getting about the hypnotic regression. You might be able to get some of it just on your own as you meditate to help you connect to that energy more. Even you keep you keep bringing up the partner, but he's even saying, he's even sending an energy about spells with the partner. He's saying that that might even be something that he would benefit from trying, because it could help him step into his power more, because there is something about like an incantation and a spell that it exudes a certain frequency, it exudes a certain power, it makes you come into your power more, of really clearly articulating and stating what you want and purposefully putting out an intent of what you want. And also something about when you call in energies into the circle, when you cast your protective space and then you call guardians into the space, something about the beings as well, um, that you that you can also draw an energy from them, and that you draw an energy from them also when they come and they emit their energies to help you with whatever you're trying to fulfill or manifest. But he's specifically talking about coming into personal power, coming into awareness of self-realization, and a worthiness, he's saying. So he's saying consciousness and self-awareness. And he's saying self-exertion with a lighter touch. But he's also saying that you're learning that. He's saying that you're pretty good with that. That's also part of the reason that you were coming in with that, because you are pretty good with that. Now, also, he's reminding me, I don't know if I said this or not, but I was going to say also with the black wings, um, another thing that really denotes to me and signifies to me is protection. Anytime a guide is coming in with a black energy like that, it means that they are a protector of the person. They're coming in with a protective energy to surround that person. Okay, are you some kind of dual guide or something? Um, no, you're not. Okay, but he's still, I guess just because the two of you are together, he is very involved with your partner as well, because he's brought him up several times. Um, Whereas in the partner's reading, the guides were all more focused on him. But now he's coming in with mostly you, but he is focusing a little bit on him as well. But he surrounds him in a protective energy as well. Okay. And he's reminding me of the main guide that was coming in for your partner also, who was taking on that that grisly energy. Okay, so that like really powerful, like can protect you energy, but also had a very loving and comforting energy at the same time. So this is not overpowering, but I almost feel like he needs that more. They're giving me the word infiltrated, like his energy is almost infiltrated more, like something influences it more. He's saying that even though you have these cords that he was talking about with the mother specifically, and even maybe possibly some other people, there might be cords, but that's different from having an influx of a lot of energies that are bombarding you and influencing you that you don't really have any protection from. So I do feel like that's there to a slight degree, just because it is with most empaths, but I feel like your protections are up a little bit more. You're not as bad with that. You're not as attacked in that way. So I actually feel like he just needs more protection in that way, but I also feel like you offer some of that. I feel like you have some of that energy too. I mean, you protect one another, but I feel like in a way, energetically, there's a protection that you offer him. So there is a loyalty. There is a loyalty with you and a protective energy with you also that comes up. Okay. And especially with him. Some of that I almost feel like is the guide coming through, almost emitting it through you to block some of these things that are coming at your partner. So he's saying that you need to be aware of that too, that you can almost shield him from some of that. Even when you're out or something, you can see him surrounded in an energy. And he's also coming in with that you kind of balance one another out. Like in some ways, you really take the leadership role. And you kind of help one another. But I almost feel like with a little bit with his protection, somehow protecting his aura, you almost need to take a more dominant role with that, where you can deflect a lot of these energies, or even help him with self-worth, or help him with like this people pleasing stuff that the guides were coming in with, or these empathic kind of things. So they're saying that you can help him with some of that. He's saying that you're good at raising spirits, you're good at encouraging people, you're good at seeing where their gifts lie, and helping to point them out, and for the person to pinpoint them and understand them. And so you can relieve some of these feelings, he's saying, of unworth or self-doubt that he's saying that afflict your partner. Um, Specifically him, he's saying, but this you could help others with this as well, but I'm especially feeling him, because you don't necessarily want to go around helping everybody with this, as it's not necessarily your calling to help every single person with this, but it is there, the ability is there. So, but it's up to you to decide, how you use it or who you use it for. So he's not suggesting go around helping every single person. He's not coming in with that. Now he's getting to the fourth question. So we have a few more minutes. He's getting to the fourth question, which was, how do I activate my starseed DNA? And he's coming up he's coming up behind me again, and he's putting his hands over my head. And he's still showing me the crown there. The crown is still there. Looks really cool. um, I have a crown. I know this is representing you, but still. Um, yeah, exactly. I'm worthy too. Exactly. I'm worthy too. Okay. I have a crown too. Yeah. So anyway, and he's like shooting this energy down though. It, see, I'm seeing this protective like black energy, but I also see the white energy, but I'm seeing that kind of coming more from the guide, but I also see it coming out of Raja's hands. I feel like he's taking some of her energy and putting it through, because I feel like that energy is specifically really, really good for clearing, whereas his energy is really good for like grounding. It's really good for getting still and getting grounded. But the other guide, its energy is good with clearing. So is the healers, obviously. But the light energy, it vibrates really high. It's not about grounding so much. It's more about uplifting consciousness. And so I feel like she especially can help you with that. So I feel like some of this has to do with you meditating and you focusing on your guides, and there are energies that they're going to bring down. And the only block that I really feel is, okay, there's actually another block that they're showing. Oh, I feel my sacral again. So I feel like these cords that they were pointing out, that can block this. But I feel like as they clear you, you're going to get more grounded, and that's a little bit of a block that they're pointing out. And that's also part of connecting with this energy that he was talking about, is the grounding, this grounding into it. So right, because he's saying connecting with the physical world means that you can manifest physically on the physical world. So Okay. Showing me a baby. He's showing me this little boy. He has these piercing blue eyes. And he's a star seed also. So this is someone that you're going to bring in. So this is like a son that they're showing me. They're saying Venetian for his origin. They're saying Venetian, but they're also showing me some other places where he's been around, and they were also showing me Lyra. They're showing me Lyra again. But there are some other places where he where he has been, where he's had some lives. I get a feeling from this guide Raja, even over the child, that he's a guide over the child also. So I almost feel him as a little bit of a family guide, a bit like any of you could call on him, you and your partner, but also any kids that you have in the future. You could that they could call on this guide. It almost feels like a family guide, even though he is also specifically your guide. He still at the same time almost feels like he's over the family or something. He doesn't mean like family back before you though. He means your family, like the one that you're making. Okay. So I feel like I'm about to go out into some trance and be on Mars or somewhere. Um, so anyway, that's the end of the reading. Um, blah 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 blah. I am tranced out right now. I cannot think or talk. But that's okay because silence speaks, you know? I'm just going to sit here silently and you'll just know that I'm thanking you for allowing me to do this reading for you. Thank you so much. Okay. So, anyway, thank you. Namaste.